Big news, folks. The Atlanta Falcons have made a move, but not everyone is thrilled about it. We're diving into the details today, so don't forget to hit that like button. I'll keep you updated daily. There's a lot going on, from a new linebacker joining the team to a familiar face heading to New England. Let's get into it. The Falcons have finally made a free agent signing, bringing in linebacker Divine Deablo from the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a 2-year, $14 million deal. While it wasn't the flashiest move of the offseason, and even got a C-boss grade from Matt Verton of Sports Illustrated, let's take a closer look at what it really means for Atlanta. What Deablo brings to the Falcons is speed, something they've been looking for. Atlanta needed to add more athleticism to their linebacker group, and Deablo does just that. The 26-year-old has spent his entire career with the Raiders, starting 42 games and racking up 288 tackles. Over the past 3 seasons, he's played at least 75% of the defensive snaps, so he's got plenty of experience and is ready to contribute. But let's be real, he might not be an immediate starter. When Troy Anderson is healthy, he's one of the most athletically gifted linebackers in the league. Kyan Ellis has been solid too. The problem is, Anderson hasn't been able to stay on the field, and that's where Deablo comes in. He's a backup plan, a reliable option who adds depth and versatility to a position group that lacked it last year. Deablo actually started his career as a safety at Virginia Tech before switching to linebacker, which gives him strong coverage skills. He's also shown that he can blitz when needed, adding a new layer to Atlanta's defense. With the linebacker group now featuring Anderson, Ellis, Deablo, and J.D. Bertrand, the Falcons' second-level defense is looking stronger. But there are still questions about the defensive line and secondary. One thing to note, this signing doesn't really help cover the Falcons' losses in free agency. Losing center Drew Dahlman to the Chicago Bears still leaves Atlanta in a position to potentially earn a mid-round compensatory pick in 2026. But Deablo's contract won't impact that. And for those wondering about Grady Jarrett, since he was released and not signed away, the Falcons won't get any compensation for his departure. The Falcons' financial situation is looking tight right now. After signing Divine Deablo, they've slipped to 30th in available cap space, according to Spotrac. This means they'll need to be smart with the remaining funds, filling key roster gaps wisely before shifting their attention to the NFL draft in April. There are still plenty of areas that need attention, and patience will be crucial. Now let's talk about a former Falcon who's found a new home, wide receiver M. Hollins. He signed a 2-year, $8.4 million contract with the New England Patriots. Hollins was one of the more unique personalities during his time in Atlanta, but unfortunately, it didn't work out as planned. After a career-best season with the Raiders in 2022, where he caught 57 passes for 690 yards and 4 touchdowns, expectations were high when he joined the Falcons. However, injuries and inconsistent quarterback play kept him from making a big impact. He ended the 2023 season with only 18 catches for 251 yards, and for the first time in 3 years, he didn't score a touchdown. It wasn't entirely his fault, though, as Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke struggled under center. Hollins rebounded in 2024 with the Buffalo Bills, where he caught 31 passes for 378 yards and a career-high 5 touchdowns. He also played a key role in Buffalo's playoff run, starting 2 of 3 postseason games and finishing with 104 yards and a touchdown in the playoffs. Now he's heading to New England, where he'll reunite with offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, who was his head coach in Las Vegas. Beyond his receiving skills, Hollins is known for his solid contributions on special teams, which makes him a valuable asset for the Patriots, who are looking to build around young talent. His veteran experience should also help stabilize their locker room and provide leadership both on and off the field. So Falcons fans, here's the question. What do you think about the signing of Divine Deablo? Do you see him as a starter or just an insurance policy? And how do you feel about Mr. Hollins moving on to New England? Was he underused in Atlanta, or was this the right move for both sides? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, the Falcons were reportedly in the mix for former San Francisco 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw. Unfortunately, the Falcons missed out on a key target, and it stings. Longtime rival Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos swooped in to sign Dre Greenlaw to a 3-year, $35 million deal. This is a tough loss for Atlanta, which desperately needed help at inside linebacker. Greenlaw would have been a perfect fit, especially given his track record. Since entering the league as a fifth-round pick in 2019, Greenlaw has been a tackling machine. He started 56 of 64 games, collecting 455 total tackles, 18 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks. He reached 120 tackles in both 2022 and 2023, and his peers even voted him the 79th best player in the NFL last year. Yes, he did suffer a torn Achilles in the Super Bowl, but the fact that he bounced back to play in 2024 shows his incredible resilience. At just 28 years old, Greenlaw still has plenty to offer. This loss leaves the Falcons in a tough spot at linebacker. Caden Ellis led the team with 151 tackles and 16 quarterback hits last season, but beyond him, the depth is concerning. Nate L. Mann, who ranked as the 39th best inside linebacker by PFF, is now an unrestricted free agent. Troy Anderson has barely been on the field, playing only 9 games over the last 2 seasons due to injuries. J.D. Bertrand, a fifth-round pick in 2024, got more playing time late last season, but his PFF grade of 49.8 would have ranked 79th out of 85 eligible linebackers. Not exactly the depth you want. The Falcons had shown interest in both Greenlaw and Jamie Sherwood, but Sherwood re-signed with the Jets. Now that the top free agent linebackers are off the board, Atlanta might have to look to the draft for reinforcements. But here's the problem. The Falcons don't have a third or fifth-round pick, making it even harder to address this need in April. So what's next? If the Falcons can't fix the linebacker situation in free agency, there are still opportunities to strengthen their defense, especially on the defensive line. 2 recently released veterans, Larry Ogunjobi and Zadarius Smith, could be interesting targets. Ogunjobi has spent his career in the AFC North, playing for the Browns, Bengals, and Steelers. In 2024, he recorded 41 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 7 quarterback hits, and 1.5 sacks. While he's not the pass rusher he once was, his peak was in 2021 with 7 sacks. He could provide some much-needed depth on the interior, especially after the Falcons released Grady Jarrett to save cap space. Zadarius Smith, on the other hand, might be an even better fit. Zadarius Smith is 2 years older than Ogunjobi, but his career has been more decorated. He posted double-digit sack seasons in 2019, 2020, and 2022, making the Pro Bowl in each of those years. Even last season, splitting time between the Browns and Lions, he still registered 9 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and 17 quarterback hits. The Lions picked him up at the trade deadline, but decided to release him to free up $5.7 million in cap space. The Falcons are in desperate need of help on the defensive line, and Smith could be the missing piece to bring pressure off the edge. Atlanta still holds the 15th overall pick in the draft, and many expect them to target a pass rusher. But adding a proven veteran like Smith would take some of the pressure off their draft strategy. Ideally, the Falcons will take a balanced approach, adding young talent through the draft while securing experienced players in free agency. If they can land both Ogunjobi and Smith on affordable deals, it would go a long way towards strengthening the defensive front. So, Falcons fans, what do you think? Are you disappointed that the team missed out on Dre Greenlaw? Do you think the Falcons should keep targeting linebackers in free agency, or is it time to shift focus to the draft? And when it comes to the defensive line, would you prefer to see Atlanta sign Ogunjobi, Smith, or both? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget, if you want to stay updated on everything happening with the Falcons this offseason, hit that like button and subscribe. There's plenty more to come, and you won't want to miss it. Go Falcons!